The stars shattered like glass under the assault of the Galactic Enforcer's fleet, and, in the heart of the void, a single human ship dared to stand between annihilation and the forgotten. Captain Elara Voss gripped the arms of her command chair on the USS Sentinel, her knuckles white against the cold metal. The view screen blazed with the fury of plasma cannons ripping through the darkness, targeting not a mighty empire, but a ragged cluster of fragile, crystalline pods drifting aimlessly in the nebula's glow. Those pods housed the Sci-Fi, the ethereal beings every advanced civilization in the galaxy had long dismissed as cosmic debris, unworthy of notice, let alone protection. But Elara couldn't look away. Not when their silent pleas echoed in her mind like a child's whisper in a storm. "Captain, we're outgunned 10-1. Her first officer, Lieutenant Kai Ramirez, barked from his console, sweat beading on his brow. "The enforcers are hailing us. They say stand down or be vaporized." Elara's heart pounded, a drumbeat of defiance mixed with terror. She had stumbled upon this massacre during a routine survey mission, far from Earth's protected borders. The Sci-Fi weren't warriors. They were wanderers, their bodies fragile wisps of light and vapor, sustained by the pods that mimicked ancient nebulae nurseries. Legends called them the galaxy's ghosts, harmless, irrelevant. Why defend them? Every rational voice in her head screamed to retreat. But something deeper stirred, a human instinct that refused to let the weak be crushed. "Ignore the hail," she ordered, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her throat. "Charge the shields. We're not leaving them to die." The ship shuddered as the first warning shot grazed their hull, sparks flying across the bridge. What had she just unleashed? And why did the Sci-Fi's faint telepathic hum feel like a call home? The Enforcer's lead cruiser, a behemoth of jagged alloys named the Imperious, loomed larger on the screen, its weapons ports glowing with malevolent energy. Elara knew their reputation. The self-appointed guardians of Galactic Order, a coalition of a dozen dominant species who enforce peace through ironclad dominance. They viewed the Sci-Fi as parasites, siphoning energy from stars without contributing to the interstellar economy or alliances. Dismissed, eradicated when convenient. Target their forward arrays, Elara commanded, her mind racing through tactical simulations. The Sentinel was an explorer vessel, not a warship, equipped for science, not slaughter. But humanity had always punched above its weight, hadn't it? From the cradle of Earth, we'd clawed our way to the stars with grit and ingenuity, not raw power. Kai hesitated, his dark eyes meeting hers. "Elara, this could start a war. The Council will disavow us." She leaned forward, the weight of her decision pressing like gravity wells. "Then let it. If we turn away now, what does that make us? Just another empire that looks the other way?" The bridge crew exchanged glances, a mix of doubt and resolve. Ensign Lila Chun, at navigation, nodded fiercely, her fingers flying over controls. Shields at maximum. Weapons online. As the Sentinel fired its first salvo, a precise beam slicing into the Imperious shields, the Sci-Fi pods pulsed with a soft, grateful light. Elara felt it again, that whisper in her mind. "Thank you, Guardian of the Lost." But was it gratitude or a warning of horrors to come? The battle erupted in a symphony of chaos. Laser fire crisscrossed the void, illuminating the nebula in bursts of crimson and azure. The Sentinel dodged nimbly, its human-engineered agility outmaneuvering the cumbersome Enforcer ships. Elara's thoughts flashed to her childhood on Earth. Orphaned in the great collapse of 2147 when climate wars had left billions scrambling for scraps. She joined the stellar fleet to escape that despair, to build something better. Defending the Sci-Fi felt like defending that scared girl she'd once been dismissed, overlooked, fighting to survive. A direct hit rocked the ship, alarms blaring. "Hull breach on deck 3. Kai shouted, "Seal it." Elara yelled, her pulse thundering. The Sci-Fi pods began to cluster closer to the Sentinel, as if seeking shelter under its wings. One pod brushed against their hull, and suddenly visions flooded Elara's mind. Vast, ancient memories of stars being born, civilizations rising and falling. The Sylphari weren't just wanderers, they were witnesses, archives of the galaxy's soul. But that revelation came at a cost. The Imperius unleashed a torpedo swarm, and Elara watched in horror as one pod shattered, its occupant, a luminous being of swirling mist, dissipating into the void like smoke. A scream echoed, not in her ears, but in her heart. What had she invited upon them all? The skirmish ended as abruptly as it began. The enforcers, perhaps surprised by human audacity, withdrew with a final barrage that left the Sentinel limping, but intact. Elara slumped in her chair, breath ragged, as repair teams scrambled. 5 Sylphari pods remained, huddled in the Sentinel's shadow. The crew was silent, processing the madness. Captain Lila whispered, "Incoming transmission from the Sylphari. It's images, emotions." Elara closed her eyes, opening her mind to the flood. Gratitude washed over her, mingled with sorrow. The Sylphari had no words, only feelings, waves of isolation, of being chased across eons by those who saw no value in their existence. They were the remnants of a precursor race, evolved to observe, not conquer. Every major civilization, the crystalline Zoreth, the hive-minded Vexery, the technocratic Eldery, had dismissed them as relics, unworthy of alliance or aid. But humanity? We were the newcomers, the upstarts still scarred by our own history of oppression and survival. Elara felt a kinship bloom in her chest, warm and fierce. "We're taking them with us," she declared. "Back to Earth. Let the galaxy know we're not like the others." Kai raised an eyebrow. "And if the enforcers follow?" She met his gaze, steel in her eyes. "Then we fight. But this isn't just about them anymore. It's about who we choose to be." As the Sentinel plotted a course home, the nebula's mist swirled around the pods like a protective veil. Elara couldn't shake the feeling that this act of defiance had awakened something ancient, something that would redefine the stars. What secrets did the Sylphari hold, and why had no one else bothered to listen? The journey back to Sol System was a gauntlet of shadows and whispers. Hyperspace jumps left Elara with nightmares, visions from the Sylphari of forgotten wars, where empires crumbled because they ignored the small and the silent. She paced the corridors at night, her reflection in the viewports a ghost of determination and doubt. Was she a hero or a fool? The crew murmured in hushed tones. Some hailed her as a visionary, others feared she doomed them all. Upon arrival at Luna Base, the reaction was electric. Fleet Command summoned her immediately, holograms of stern admirals flickering in the debrief room. "Captain Voss," Admiral Harlan growled, his face etched with lines of bureaucratic weariness, "you've poked the hornet's nest. The Galactic Council is demanding explanations. Why risk everything for space jellyfish?" Elara stood tall, the Sylphari's essence still tingling in her veins. "Because they're alive, Admiral. Sentient. And every civilization out there treats them like trash. If we do the same, we're no better." Harlan sighed, rubbing his temples. "Romantic notions won't save us from war. But the Council wants a hearing. You're to represent humanity at the Nexus Station." Nexus Station, a colossal hub orbiting a neutral black hole where species convene to bicker and bargain. Elara's stomach twisted. This was bigger than her now. The Sylphari pods were docked in quarantine, their light dimmed by the artificial gravity. She visited them before departure, placing a hand on the crystalline surface. "We will speak for you," she thought, and felt a surge of affirmation in return. But as the shuttle launched, an encrypted message pinged her console. "Beware the dismissers. They hide the truth." From whom? And what truth could shatter the galaxy's fragile peace? Nexus Station gleamed like a jewel in the abyss, its spires twisting in impossible geometries sustained by anti-grav fields. Elara stepped onto the docking platform, flanked by human diplomats in crisp uniforms. The air hummed with a babble of languages, clicks, hums, telepathic pulses. Representatives from 100 worlds eyed her with curiosity or disdain. The hearing chamber was a vast amphitheater, holographic projectors casting the stars as a backdrop. At the center podium, Elara faced the council. The Zorith Elder, a being of living crystal that refracted light into rainbows. The Vexery Queen, a swarm of insectoid drones speaking in unison. The Eldry Prime, a cyborg fusion of flesh and circuit, eyes glowing with data streams. The human Voss, the Eldery intoned, voice mechanical and cold. You interfered in Enforcer operations. Explain. Elara drew a breath, channeling the Silphireye's calm. The Silphireye are not threats. They're refugees, observers of our shared history. Dismissing them is not justice, it's cruelty. Laughter rippled through the chamber, a cacophony of alien sounds. The Zorith Elder shimmered dismissively. They are echoes of a dead era. No tech, no armies. Why defend the irrelevant? Because irrelevance is a lie we tell ourselves to justify indifference. Elara shot back, her voice echoing. Humanity knows what it's like to be dismissed. We rose from a single planet scarred by our own mistakes. We see value in the overlooked. The Vexery Queen buzzed. Sentiment, weakness. The Enforcers maintain order. But as arguments flew, Elara noticed a faint glow in the shadows, a Silphireye tendril slipping through vents. Impossible. They were back on Luna. Yet the vision hit her. A memory of the Silphireye seeding life on barren worlds, nurturing the first sparks of civilization. They weren't just witnesses, they were creators, subtle architects of the galaxy. The council adjourned in uproar, but Elara's words had planted seeds. Whispers followed her. Allies? Or spies? That night, in her quarters, a holographic intruder appeared, a cloaked figure, voice distorted. The Silphireye hold the key. Protect them or all falls. What key? And who was hunting it? Tensions escalated as envoys from minor species approached Elara in secret corridors. The nomadic Krell, feathered avians with a history of exile, shared tales of Silphireye aid in ancient times. They healed our worlds, one whispered, but the Great Ones fear their knowledge. Back on the Sentinel, now her mobile base, Elara dove into research, poring over encrypted databases. The Silphireye communicated through empathy, sharing fragments of lost lore. One vision showed a cataclysm, a superweapon from the Precursor Wars, hidden in the collective memory of the Silphireye, the key to unlocking it or destroying it. Kai pulled her aside during a strategy session. Elara, this is insane. If the Enforcers learn of this, they already suspect, she replied, fear gnawing at her. Her own doubts surfaced. Was she projecting her past traumas? Orphaned, she'd fought for every scrap of belonging. Defending the Silphireye felt personal, a way to heal old wounds. But at what cost to her crew? A betrayal struck without warning. Ensign Chun, trusted navigator, was caught transmitting coordinates to the Enforcers. They promised safety for my family, she confessed, tears streaming. The low point hit Elara like a black hole's pull, trust shattered, isolation complete. We can't trust anyone. Kai said, his loyalty unwavering. But Elara felt the weight crushing her. How much more could she endure? The midpoint twist exploded in a cascade of revelations. During a clandestine meeting with potential allies on a derelict moon base, the Enforcers ambushed. Plasma fire lit the ruins, and in the chaos, a Silphireye pod cracked open. From it emerged not a wisp, but a humanoid form, translucent, ethereal, yet solid. We are the ancients. It spoke aloud for the first time, voice like echoing wind, reborn through cycles, dismissed to hide our power. Elara stared, world tilting. The Silphireye weren't weak. They were voluntary exiles, guardians of the galaxy's equilibrium. By choosing humility, they'd evaded detection. But humanity's defense had forced their hand, revealing them as the true progenitors of life, capable of reshaping reality. This changes everything, Elara breathed. The Enforcers weren't enforcers of peace. They were suppressors, fearing the Silphireye's ability to judge and unmake corrupt empires. The ambush turned tide as the revealed Silphireye unleashed a wave of energy, disabling attackers. But the cost? Chun lay wounded, her betrayal forgiven in a moment of redemption. I was wrong, she gasped. They're us. Fleeing the moon, Elara's mind reeled. Wait, this was not what she expected. The Sylphari weren't victims, they were gods in disguise. And now, the galaxy would come for them all. Alliances fractured and reformed in the wake of the revelation. Word spread like nova fire. Humanity had awakened the ancients. The council splintered, some species pledging support, others aligning with the enforcers for a preemptive strike. Elara led a ragtag fleet, human ships bolstered by Krell scouts and rogue Zorith dissidents, toward the Sylphari's hidden sanctuary, a pocket dimension tucked in a quantum fold. The journey was fraught. Skirmishes in asteroid fields, where betrayals lurked in every shadow. Kai confessed his own fears one starry night. I joined the fleet to explore, not die. But for you, for this, I'd face the void. Their bond deepened, a flicker of human connection amid cosmic turmoil. Elara shared her inner torment. I thought I was saving them. Now they're saving us from our own arrogance. A shocking discovery aboard a captured Enforcer vessel. Data logs revealing the Enforcers had engineered dismissals, spreading propaganda to isolate the Sylphari. Their logic, control through ignorance. But human emotion, empathy, curiosity had pierced the veil. Tension peaked at the sanctuary's threshold. The Enforcers' armada arrived, a wall of death blotting the stars. Surrender the ancients, their broadcast demanded, or perish. Elara stood on the bridge, the revealed Sylphari, now named Ether, beside her, its form shimmering. We chose obscurity to let you grow, Ether said, but your defense reminds us of hope. The battle was cataclysmic. Ships danced in deadly ballets, explosions blooming like flowers of fire. Elara's tactics shone. Feints drawing enemies into quantum traps where reality warped. But losses mounted, friends vaporized, screams cut short. In the heart of it, a moral dilemma tore at Elara. Ether offered the key, a weapon to end the Enforcers instantly. Use it and become what you despise, it warned. She hesitated, fingers hovering over the activation sequence. Power tempted, but humanity's soul resisted. No, she decided, we'll win our way. The emotional low crashed as Kai's fighter was hit, his voice crackling over comms. Elara, it's been an honor. Tears blurred her vision, rage fueling her commands. Twists compounded. A Vexery defector revealed the Enforcer's leader was a corrupted ancient twisted by ambition. The confrontation loomed. The final standoff unfolded in the sanctuary's core, a vast chamber of swirling energies where stars were born in miniature. Elara faced the Enforcer Prime, a hulking fusion of machine and malice. You humans are insects, it sneered, daring to defend what we rightfully control. Ether merged with Elara temporarily, amplifying her senses. She saw the truth. The Prime had betrayed its kin eons ago, fearing equality. Your logic is fear, Elara declared. Ours is love. The clash was visceral, beams clashing, realities bending. Allies poured in, turning the tide. In a surge of empathic power, Ether unraveled the Prime's form, not destroying, but redeeming, stripping corruption, revealing a humbled core. As the Armada retreated, peace tentative but real, Elara stood amid the glow. Losses ached. Kai gone, but his spirit echoed in the victory. The Sylphari, ancients integrated, sharing knowledge to uplift all. Humanity's choice had reshaped the galaxy, proving dismissal was the true weakness. Elara gazed at the stars, Ether's whisper warm. You defended us when none would. Now we defend together. And in that eternal light, the void felt a little less empty.